Right now, the assumed name is really important. Understanding that the only thing that you can control is what you create. You did not create the all caps name, government did. That's how they control it. But you are the beneficiary of the all caps name that looks like yours. So taking control of the name, taking it away from them, using what's called the assumed name, filing it at the clerk's office on the county, and that allows you to be present, and you can represent yourself, or not represent yourself, but be present and speak for yourself as a human being. These courts are courts of fiction. Humans cannot be there. But when you go there as fact, and you state your fact, and you do your autograph, and you are not a contract, you are not a fiction, then if you don't consent to it, then it changes the fabric of the court. So learning the assumed name laws here in Washington State, it's legislation law 1907, chapter 145, House Bill 64, and it's prima facie fraud if you do not file it and you go into a courtroom and you try to represent yourself or try to present yourself as a human being, a matter of fact, using an autograph. It's fraud. So it's real important to file this with the clerk, and it's vetted here in Washington after 30 days. They have one in Oregon in 1913 is when they passed theirs. You file that with the Secretary of State, and then you pay them $1.50, and they file it on every county you want. Now you have the right to do business, commerce, and that's what the uppercase name is, of course, corporate commerce. And you can go into any court that the Secretary of State in Oregon files it on, and you can also be present and represent as a human being, a matter of fact, and now the fiction doesn't apply to you anymore. And you argue that fact, that you separate the all caps name from the human being, the rights from the fiction. And anyway, that puts them in an awkward position of committing crimes and fraud. Anyway, that's the assumed name. Also, you can trademark it, you can incorporate it, you can file your public notice in a newspaper claiming the all caps name as you're the benefactor, you're going to take control over it. And you can start a business in the all caps name if you want to under yours. It's the assumed name, and it's the same thing. You now have the right to use the courts. So, but taking control of that all caps name, separating the fiction and the fact, there's two, and then not being confused what a signature and an autograph is in a court of law or a court of equity, and distinguishing what is a court of law and a court of equity, and it will change everything that you're doing. It will start making sense. If you're doing commerce on the highway, and the speeding laws are for you. If you're driving in your recreational vehicle or your private automobile, and those speed limit signs are not for you. They're for commercial only. So if you're doing 80 and a 60 for commercial and they write you a citation, it's fraud. The citation, if you go through it all and examine every point they write on there, you will find a fraud on the document, and you can go in there and claim fraud. And most of the time, the officer will not appear in court. The court won't allow him to show up because you can have the officer arrested for perjury for creating a fraudulent document. So they don't like doing that. When they realize that you understand the difference and you can separate the two, it changes what's going to happen. So some simple little facts that you can start researching this, and you'll find a whole world of information. You can study this stuff for years, and then that's what happens. It gets fascinating, and you'll hone your skills down.